Hey, and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about dependency. And I think that's a pretty big, it's pretty big for a lot of us. And I'll just define dependency as, we'll just break down the word. Dependency, as in dependent. You depend on people and situations and things to provide what you need. And the flip side to that is if it's not provided through people and situations and things, then you're out of luck because you don't know how to provide for yourself. And, a lot of us go through dependency as a child. We are dependent upon our parents and situations, people, things to provide us with what we need. And the process of childhood was supposed to turn us into an independent person. Now, a lot of us learned how to be independent physically with our survival, our physical survival, where we learned how to put a shelter over our head and food in our mouth through means of employment at the marketplace. But we didn't learn how to provide for ourselves psychologically or emotionally. And so, since we didn't learn how to provide for ourselves in that way, we kind of get stuck reaching out into the outside world for what we need because that's dependency. That means you're unable to provide for yourself. So, we know how to take care of our physical survival, but we know that internally we need love, understanding, patience, awareness, but mostly peace, love, and understanding. These are three things that you just need. And when you don't get what you need, you go reaching out into the outside world for it. I mean, peace. How many of you guys feel peace inside? Right? We're usually trying to escape reality for peace and means of unconsciousness. And we usually do that through drugs or drinking or prayer in heaven. Or some think it's in the wine, some think it's in the divine. But we're trying to find some kind of peace. And love, if you don't have love, a lot of us go, I've seen a variety of results. Some of us just resign ourselves to an unlovable person. But for majority, we think that other people have to love us in order for us to feel loved. And so we do that. We seek it through relationships and everything else. I mean, well, you know how it goes. If you've been in a relationship and you give all of the love away, and then they don't love you back, it's like, oh, I gave all my love away, and now I don't get my love. It's it's crazy. And if we don't have understanding, then, geez, we just don't know what we're doing or why we're doing it, and everything seems unclear. You know, Dependency is tough. It's tough because it's still survival. We got one aspect taken care of, the physical aspect, but this other aspect is not taken care of. Ooh. You know what? You can't feel alive if you have a roof over your head and food in your mouth and no good emotions and no good thoughts. Life seems like it's down in the dumps. And see, as a child, you're supposed to get your needs taken care of until you're old enough to learn how to provide for yourself. As a childhood, this could lead to a lot of trust issues. And because as a child, we depend on these people to give us what we need. And if we don't get what we need, then we're out of luck. And if we don't get what we need, the trust is like, it starts to break. And as an adult, if you're independent, or if you are dependent as an adult, it's just hell. It's like living in hell. Uh, and this is why a lot of us run into trust issues, is because we're afraid to trust people and these things, because we have a fear that they're going to let us down. But the reality is that they will let us down, because we're not independent. We don't know how to provide for ourselves. If you use a relationship as a means to receiving love, that's dependent. And if they don't give you the love, now you don't get any love. Dependency. See, dependency is that it's a double edge. You have to have these things in order to get what you need, and if they don't appear, you're out of luck. Oh, you know what we go through to get our needs met? I mean, we go through a lot. Physically, if you have no food, what do you think you would go through to get what you need? Right? There's no question what you would go through. You would do what you have to do to get what you need, or at least what you knew how to do. If you were in the wild and you knew how to hunt, you'd go hunt. If you didn't know how to hunt, maybe you'd go forage. If you didn't know how to forage, you'd probably hope and pray. I'm just saying, you do what's in your capabilities, right? So it's like, if you don't have what you need, you go through a lot to get what you need. So if you don't have love, could you imagine what you go through to try to get that? We try to manipulate people and situations and things to get what we need. See, what we need. We're not even done past survival mode yet, because we're still dependent. We're depending on other people to give us what we need, and other situations to provide for us. We go through a lot. A very innocent sort of play is like, let's say somebody goes out to nature and wow, they have an experience of peace, right? Out in nature, they went out to nature and they experienced a peace like they never felt before. So now they'll go through this whole rigmarole of loading up the trucks and driving all out to their favorite spots and setting it up just so they can have a particular experience inside. That's still a dependency, mind you, but these are the things we go through to get our needs met. Now that's innocent, because nature is beautiful, yes. I'm not trying to say anything bad about nature, that it's not beautiful, that it's not relaxing. It's absolutely wonderful and magnificent. I'm just saying the act of you being stressed out during your daily life, and now you go through this whole process to set up your surroundings to make things so that you have a particular experience inside, is dependency, because you need your environment to be a particular way, and you need to be in a particular way, and at these things and all these things going, and then you feel the peace. Then it happens. It's a psych out. See, another thing we go through is like, love. That's huge for a lot of us. Love is a big factor. Some people have crazy ideas. Love is God. Love is the universe. Love heals everything. Love, 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 love. I'm not trying to say anything bad about love. It's just the need is expressed constantly that people don't have love. And they don't. They think that receiving somebody else's love is more magnificent than the love they give themselves. And that's a huge, huge problem. Because then your love is always second best. If somebody else's love is worth more than the love you have, that's second best. That's psychological structure setting you up. But if your love is second best, who's receiving that? See, these things don't make sense if you really traverse down that road, and that's what I suggest to you. If you can really traverse down the road and maybe try to look at it differently on how you're reaching to get what you need. Now, a lot of people do have a belief that basic relationships are a give-take, right? Relationships are like that. Love me, and I'll love you. These are needs-based relationships where their needs aren't being met, and they're going to get together in hopes that I'll take care of your needs and you take care of my needs. Ta-da! But since you're unable to provide and you'd never had that provision as a child, there's trust issues, right? And there's a trust issue with doing it in this particular way just because it never works out. It just never works out if you think that this other person's love and everything that they do is a deciding factor, right? It just doesn't make sense. That is just needs based. But yeah, and the whole structure fails because it can't work, because there always comes a time when that your partner, whoever, isn't there. They can't answer the phone. They're going through some things internally themselves, and maybe they're a little withdrawn, and here comes the old pain. Here comes the lack that was always there. We just didn't want to see it. And so a lot of us think, this person, he played us. I loved this person, and they didn't love me. Do you see how that engaging in relationships like that is needs based? I need love. Now, I get it. You might not know what else there is. Like, what do you mean? When you have your needs taken care of, right? When you have a full belly, physical survival isn't an issue. So what's the next issue? Your thoughts and emotions. Now, if you get your thoughts and how you want, and you get your emotions how you want, what do you think is the next thing? See, this is the basis of life. You're supposed to have your needs taken care of by you. You're supposed to be able to provide for yourself no matter what's happening. Your thoughts and emotions should be able to happen the way you want it, because that's the gift of being human. Our life doesn't end with survival. Our life begins with survival. So once our survival is taken care of, we can live. We can finally live. Life can touch us. We can have experiences beyond just trying to have our needs met and thinking about some fantasy love that doesn't exist, or whatever it is that you need. So dependency is tough. It's still survival mode. It's still depending on people and situations and things to provide for you, because you don't know how to provide for yourself. But I want you to know that you can learn this. You can learn how to provide love for yourself. You don't need to alienate yourself from other people's love and say, only love from my significant other is more important than love from anybody else. That's sick. That is just sick thinking, to think that one person's love is more magnificent and worth more than anybody else's love. It's just sick. It alienates you from receiving love from anybody else. And meanwhile, we're missing out on life because we don't have our needs met. We're still reaching, trying to get our needs met, that we're not even experiencing life. We're just, you know, whew, it still gets you. So, how to become independent? Well, you have to become a person that provides for yourself. And generally, in order to do that, you have to change who you are. Because the people in your life told you who you are. And now you are this. Although you don't feel like this is you, but this is what we live. It's just a learned behavior. You know, everything is learned behavior. If you grew up in a family and they didn't know how to deal with emotions, you're not going to know how to deal with emotions, right? So on and so forth. So changing who you are is a good way of getting what you need, because who you are right now, you are unable to love. It's pointless to try to love you if you don't love you. You want to become a you that you love. You right now is unlovable because of you. You can become the you that you love if you're willing. If you want it. If you don't want it, that's fine. But also we got to recognize we do what we know how to do. So if you want to do something different in life, you're going to have to learn a different way. Being able to love yourself and appreciate the love that you have for you more than any other love that's given to you is a good place to start. I know you can change. We're just talking about a topic of dependency in hopes that it helps shed a light to providing for yourself, because we want to start living. We want to start expanding and having magnificent experiences in life that can be had, but only when our needs are taken care of. Once survival is taken care of, then we progress to different areas of life. But unless those needs are met, we stay stuck, eternally trying to get our needs met. So that's that. I'm not going to go into topic on how to become independent, because that's that's quite a lot. That's things we're supposed to learn over years, in our childhood. But you're adults now. You are way smarter and way more capable than you were as a 3-year-old, as a 5-year-old, as a 10-year-old. You have grown. And there's nothing you can't do.